to do about how low the resolution is on the stream. I'll hit go live and just see what happens. Hello everybody, welcome. I'm live. So before we get started with the show, I just need to check the resolution of the stream right now because it's quite low at the moment. So I need to fix it on my end, I think. So that's one thing. So let me try this.
Hello?
Hello? Yes. Yeah, I don't know how do you think I would fix the resolution? Because right now it appears to be just going for 360p, which is not ideal. But yeah. Do you have any idea?
I don't know. Right now it's in 720p for me.
Oh, on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so maybe it's just me. Maybe everything is okay with the stream. Okay, so if it is in 720p, then we can actually start the podcast, and we can hit the record button. I can hit the record button, and we can get started. So I'll go and hit that button. And hello guys, welcome to today's stream slash recording if you're watching afterwards on the video after. So today we will be covering a few stories. So the headline story today is Apple fixing the iPhone overheating problems, as well as a 0-day exploit which was discovered on the iPhone. And today is the 6th of October 2023. I always say that the date at the start of the podcast, so I just needed to include it. Anyway, starting with the first story that we've already talked a little bit about. So Apple has released the new iOS 17.0.3 update. Hang on. And it fixes two major issues. So there were some overheating problems that people were reporting when it came to the new iPhone 15 Pro. So the new iPhone 15 Pro had the new A17 Pro chip, which used the new 3nm manufacturing process, and this engineering could cause heat problems when it came to the titanium frame. Apple denied these claims, however, they have released this new update which fixes some of the heat issues and also addresses a exploit which was found by security researchers. It's a kernel exploit which is actually being actively exploited at the moment, but it does require local access. So there's also another vulnerability on the iPhone which involves WebRTC, so that's also been patched. So overall, if you are on iPhone, it's important to update your phone to this new security update because there's some exploits that have been fixed here, so it's a good update if you're on iPhone. Anyway, I don't think there's really much to talk about there, so moving on to the next story. Now we're in the Android section, so we'll be discussing Nokia's new made in Europe, actually made in Hungary specifically, Nokia XR21 5G phone. So this is a new phone which is mainly targeted at the enterprise market, with a sticker price of €699 or £599 if you live in the UK. And it will be available to the general public with limited edition versions in the UK, France, Germany, Austria, the Netherlands, Belgium, Spain, Italy, and Finland. And so they're also planning to release the standard non-limited edition version of the XR21 to consumers that will be available in black. So if you're not a big fan of the kind of white look, often it can kind of get scuffed, and it might not look that nice after a while. You can wait for this non-limited edition version to come out. But for now, you can only buy this limited edition version of this new made in Hungary phone. So when it comes to my analysis of this, I think it's quite interesting to see more phones being made in Europe. And Nokia claimed to kind of be the first brand making phones in Europe. But, of course, there have been some previous manufacturers, mainly small brands, which have made in Europe. However, this is one of the biggest brands to make phones in Europe as of late. So this is pretty cool. But yeah, what do you think, Pigus, about this Nokia? Sadly, you can't get it in Sweden, so yeah.
Not really much. It's great to have some more like localized production.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think it will definitely be a plus for enterprise customers who are worried about who are worried about kind of data security and just generally. It's probably better to be buying stuff from Europe because some consumers will actually, and some enterprise customers will actually value having these phones made in Europe because it means, of course, they have to travel less far to the European market, and there are a number of advantages on that front, as well as kind of moving supply chains away from China. And yeah, overall, it's a pretty cool development. Any other thoughts, Piers?
No.
Okay, let's move on to the next story. So we're covering something that's kinda Android related within the Android section. So Samsung is adding support for mobile driver's licenses to not Android. Samsung is adding support for mobile driver's licenses to Samsung Wallet. So Arizona and Iowa will apparently be the first states to support this new feature, which will allow you to basically hold your driving license digitally through this app in these states in the US. So this is quite a limited rollout. However, apparently you'll be able to do this by next year. So it's a pretty cool new kind of way of storing your ID. However, of course, some people will be skeptical of storing your driver's license in Samsung Wallet, and they'll say, this could be used for like data collection and such. But I think it's a cool way of storing your driving license. It will be interesting to see how many states adopt this, because right now it's only Arizona and Iowa, with California doing a few trials. But Of course, it will definitely be up to the states whether they roll this out. But internationally, there hasn't really been much when it comes to integrating it into wallet apps specifically. But of course, there may be some resistance to it, but I think we will see more of this in the future. Any thoughts on this, Pigus?
Mm.
On a
Well,
mobile driving license?
yeah, I don't really know if it's a so good idea to move everything digitally.
Yeah, I mean, also just all onto your phone.
Yeah,
It's like not just digitally. It's
yeah,
like all on one device that you own.
yeah. Because like if your battery runs out, you have no proof of your license.
Yeah,
What are you gonna do then?
yeah.
It's the same thing with like bus tickets.
hmm
You can't and take the bus if you don't have your phone.
Yeah,
And
because then
it's
it's like, oh, I'll get my cash. Oh wait,
yeah,
no, I don't carry cash anymore. I'll get my coins out the thing. Oh wait, I don't carry that.
yeah,
Oh, my cards. Oh yeah, I forgot. I put all my cards on my digital wallet, so I can't. Yeah, uh,
yeah,
you'll have no other way of paying.
yeah,
So that's kind of
mm,
not such a great development on when you think about it.
yeah.
But yeah, but if you're also carrying around your driving license as well as a digital one, I kind of see no harm really in it.
But why do you need it digitally if you just
It
have
might be more
a
convenient to access it digitally. You can just pull it up. Yeah.
yeah?
However, I
Mm,
wonder if any police officers, any like highway patrol or whatever, who pull you over, will think, "Hang on, why are you showing me your wallet app?" Maybe some police officers or whatever, some people pulling people over might not know about this new
mm,
trial of digital wallets and might think this is suspicious or something. I don't know.
yeah.
It just sounds like something that could happen, given the fact that this is only a kind of small trial as of the moment. Any anyway, moving on to the next story, a interesting promise from Google. So Google have promised that they will give at least 7 years of software updates, including feature updates. So that is a pretty big promise, given that barely any other manufacturer that make such bold promises as 7 years of feature and security updates. However, it is not necessarily guaranteed, given that Google could just one day backtrack on this. And given how many products Google kill, and the fact that in 7 years the Pixel might not even be a product line anymore. Of course, if you remember the Nexus phones in the past, they killed off that line. And then brought in the Pixels. So who knows what the real future of this Google product is. However, if they do keep their word and keep the promise, then it will be pretty cool to see updates for that long. Because historically, most Android phones haven't really had that many feature updates over a long period of time. And often people end up using custom ROMs and other stuff to actually get newer versions of Android. But if you don't want to do that, this is a kind of cool thing, I guess. Yeah.
But it seems like it's just for the pro version.
Oh. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So if you,
Yeah.
yeah. So maybe this is kind of I guess if you have the pros, then you'll get these updates. Who knows how long they'll update it for the regular Pixel if that's the case. But anyway, a pretty cool promise if it's true. But of course, manufacturers don't always keep their promises. Google haven't always kept their promises, so we'll have to see. This isn't any sort of legally binding agreement that they've signed here. This is just a promise. So yeah, we'll have to see. Anyway, continuing on to another story from The Verge here. So Microsoft have launched their web app store for Windows on the web with this new UI. So previously they had a site with an obsolete UI, and now they've updated their website to include this new UI that's meant to be kind of more in line with the kind of Microsoft design, I guess, and more up to date. So you can now access that on your devices and download apps through the Microsoft Store by basically selecting an app on the web, and then it will pull it into the Microsoft Store. So really, on Windows, this is quite a pointless thing. However, if you are on a different device and you just want to take a look at the Microsoft Store and what Windows apps you can get and stuff, then I guess this is a good feature, a good new update. Any other thoughts, Piggy?
No.
Okay, continuing on to the Linux distro releases. So there's one that I wanted to mention this week, so quite a major one here. Elementary OS is now rolling out. So there's now a new version of Elementary OS 7.1. So this new version of Elementary OS has a few kind of notable updates. I put some of them in the notes here. So one of them is the App Center will now inform you if an app can read your location, send notifications, or automatically start and run in the background without asking first. Another thing that you can find out, it will now inform you of, is whether it accesses system folders or your home folder, whether it can read and write system settings, and whether it could possibly escape the sandbox altogether and gain arbitrary advanced permissions. So this is a cool update, I guess, when it comes to the App Center, because of course you would want to know if an app could potentially try and escape the flat pack kind of sandbox. Because if it can, that could be a pretty dangerous program, and you might not want to be running it on your computer. Now, the other update, the other feature which has been added, is that with VPNs that you can now connect multiple. You can now have multiple VPN connections at once. So if you're using one app with a VPN connection, and you're also using another app, which was maybe, let's say you had an internet VPN, you could also connect a app that uses a VPN connection to filter your traffic or whatever. So that's cool, I guess. And there are also some other features when it comes to gestures, some new updates when it comes to gestures. However, I won't be getting into those. Unless Piggis wants to.
Yeah.
Do you want to get into the gesture updates or no?
No.
Okay.
I guess it's just mostly just simple improvements.
Mm-hmm.
It was like for multi-gestures stuff.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so moving
Something
on.
like that.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. So we're now in the gaming section. So Amazon Luna is taking one step closer to Stadia, according to 9 to 5 Google, who will of course talk a lot about Google products and even the failed ones like Stadia. But the new update that they're saying is a bit like Stadia, is that you can now buy games using Luna, and it's a cool new feature, I guess, if you want to buy games and be able to actually own them on Luna and be able to play them on different devices. However, if Amazon Luna no longer if it gets discontinued or something, your games might be kind of I mean, you can get access them through the Ubisoft store, so I guess that's cool. But of course, if you're playing them through Luna and they discontinue it, then you'll have quite limited ways to play if you were playing only on like a Fire TV or whatever. But I guess at least you can build up a game library that way. But yeah, what do you think about this, Biggest? Any thoughts? Anything that you want to add or anything?
Just feel like the game stores are just getting more scattered around. Like so many different places to get your games now.
Yeah, so they used to, of course, just be. You used to get physical games, as in you could get CDs or DVDs or whatever. And now, of course, then there was the era of kind of Steam games, and now it's the era of Epic Game Store, Steam, all the different platforms that Ubisoft, all the different platforms you can get games from, and yeah, a lot more
Yeah.
stores that you'll now have to download stuff from.
And I'm not so familiar with Luna, but does they have like a subscription?
Yeah, it
Like
would.
yeah.
Yeah, so that might not be great if you can't afford the subscription anymore. All your games will be taken away. So that's kind of sad. Anyway, continuing on to the next story. So now we're in the gaming section. We're continuing on with the gaming section because I just opened up the wrong link. But I fixed it before. Yeah. But anyway, Microsoft is apparently eyeing up closing the Activision Blizzard deal next week. So apparently, the decision from the UK regulator is apparently imminent, and they're looking to finish this deal off and get it approved by the UK regulator fully, and then they can move ahead with this acquisition. Now, I'm not sure what to think about Microsoft acquiring even more game studios, because they kind of do now have quite a few studios, so maybe they're gonna get more control over the gaming industry, which might not be good for competition. However, I don't think it's really at a dangerous level of kind of ownership yet. What are your thoughts, Biggest, on Microsoft buying studios left, right, and center, and putting them all on like Game Pass or whatever? What are your thoughts?
Microsoft is becoming a monopoly.
Well, yeah, they probably want to become a monopoly. They might not be able
No,
to,
but
though.
don't they have a pretty big market share in the gaming world?
Yeah, but they do. So to be fair, they're gonna try and become a monopoly, but right now I wouldn't say they're monopoly. But who knows?
It's
And
a possibility that you might start getting some antitrust lawsuits against
yeah,
them for
that's the
being a
reason why I think it
monopoly.
won't end up becoming a monopoly, because they've already got antitrust action against them. And honestly, Microsoft tried to become a monopoly over all sorts of stuff, like internet and stuff, uh, and
And
web
they
browsers, and they got totally destroyed in antitrust suits and stuff.
uh,
So to be honest, yeah.
did they
Anyway,
get like an antitrust for uh, being like the biggest PC operating system.
They probably, yeah, it depends on jurisdiction and stuff. Anyway, I'm not gonna weigh in on antitrust law here, and I'm gonna continue on to the miscellaneous section. So we're going to be covering a few UK related stories here. So the UK carrier O2, the one that I'm actually on right now, because I was trying to roam in Europe, and so O2 have, I think it's 25 gig allowance for European roaming. So I wanted that for my trip to Belgium. But anyway, but that's unrelated note. But O2, the UK carrier, has said that Google is currently working on making RCS even better than it currently is. So O2 revealed in a forum post that it will be switching its RCS implementation on Android phones over to Google services. So apparently, it will be shutting down its old RCS implementation soon, and Google's Jibe will take over. Apparently, there should be minimal interruption. However, you will have to accept Google's terms of service. And this applies to people on Google Messages and people using Samsung's messaging app. So apparently O2 are justifying this by saying Google Jibe is trying to make RCS better than it has ever been before, and they're going to implement all these improvements, and O2 are better just to scrap their old RCS stuff and adopt Google's standard. However, I'm not so convinced on this front. I don't think it's great to just have Google implementing RCS. I think having different implementations is probably a good thing. But who knows where Google's RCS standard will go, whether Google are trying to do something more sinister here, or whether it's really something great or whatever. Who really knows at the current moment? But this is one thing that the UK mobile network O2 are doing, so we'll see if other networks follow suit. Yeah, what do you think, Piers?
Well, you're just at the mercy of Google now if you let them host your
RCS, yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, that's a problem, I think.
And if everyone just does it, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah. But anyway, moving on to the next story here. If my computer will load the new story. Taking a minute here. Okay, so which the UK magazine, I should preface it with people in the UK will know the Which magazine, but if you're not from the UK, it's a magazine which goes over consumer stuff, and it's kind of like lobbies for consumer rights and stuff, and they're quite a big magazine in the UK, and they talk about reviews of different stuff, including technology, but they've launched a new campaign to ban mid-contract broadband price hikes. So they say that Ofcom should ban the practice, the UK regulator for telecommunications, and they say that they should do this to deliver clearer and fairer pricing. So right now they can raise basically they can raise prices during the middle of a contract by up to 4%, of annual inflation set on a particular month. But anyway, I'm not going to get into the specifics of that. But basically, they're trying to get these mid-contract price rises banned, and to allow at least consumers um, sorry, allow consumers to exit their contract penalty free if they do encounter these price hikes. Although which their actual demands is just to ban these price hikes. So yeah, overall, I think it's good Which taking pro-consumer action. They previously had all sorts of campaigns to lobby government and lobby regulators to do the right thing by the consumer. So I think it's always good to see Which doing this stuff. So yeah. Any thoughts, Piggers? Kind of a UK store here, but yeah.
No, but I guess it's more fair if you ban it,
Yeah.
because you make a contract. Both sides should
Observe it. Yeah.
like follow it.
Yeah. But yeah, so moving on to the next story. So we're getting out of the UK section here, and we're actually there'll be even more UK stuff in a minute. But the X is apparently testing free paid subscription tiers because of ongoing financial problems. Of course, these aren't really specified because they're a private company, and also they, whatever. But basically the details are very scarce here. There's not really much information on what's going on. However, apparently there might be free tiers of X, so Twitter, and apparently, there'll be a new paid plan system. However, we do not currently know the details. Just a few kind of comments from Elon Musk. But yeah, I think personally that X, that they've become less and less popular. I think if they continue trying to do stuff when it comes to paid subscriptions, people will just move to alternatives. I mean, personally, I've not been using Twitter much recently, but yeah. Have you got any thoughts, Biggers?
No, it just feels like they're just pushing people off the platform.
Yeah, it does feel like Elon Musk is kind of pushing people off the platform with these new rules. He's continuously done stuff that is kind of unpopular with the public, and he's done another one here. Anyway, continuing on, Adobe are apparently teasing a new AI photo editing tool that will revolutionize their products according to Adobe. So that's their words, not anybody else's. But basically, it will allow you to do stuff like remove different people from images and do all sorts of stuff when it comes to editing images using AI tools. But of course, they're not the first to this game. With Google already doing some AI tools with their Magic Editor on the new Pixels, and other projects that have already existed, such as Canva's new editing tools. However, it's cool to see Adobe integrate new features on their products. It doesn't change the fact that Adobe still ridiculously prices stuff, but I guess this is a nice feature if you use the expensive Adobe suite. Any thoughts?
I mean, it is pretty pretty good products they offer, so very polished stuff. So
yeah, if it doesn't crash, it's very polished. Anyway, continuing on.
Compared to like the other alternatives, I think overall with all the other tools you have with Adobe, it's seems
true.
like it's more powerful than like what Google does.
So that's cool. Moving on to the next story. Sony have confirmed security breaches of their servers that has exposed employee data. So they've contacted 6,800 current and former employees of Sony Interactive Entertainment to warn them that their data may have been collected by hackers. So this breach apparently occurred during September, and this is because of the Move It cyber attacks. So apparently they were using Move It transfer systems, and apparently when Move It got breached, it also breached some of Sony's data. So apparently only 3 gigabytes of data was breached, although that's quite a bit of information. But they have investigated this incident, and they're currently investigating this incident, and they've taken the server down.
It seems like the hack affected 6 million individuals.
What? Why did it say that?
Yeah, just searched up on Move It.
Oh, you mean the Move It hack?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Move It hack was pretty big. But this is just a kind of aftershock, I guess, from that massive hack.
Yeah.
But anyway, moving on to the last story, the UK regulator could investigate Microsoft and Amazon over their cloud infrastructure. So apparently they have... this is apparently straight after their concerns over cloud gaming with Microsoft's proposed acquisition of Activision Blizzard, which we were previously covering. But they might now turn their attention to Microsoft's Azure and cloud offerings and Amazon's AWS. So this is the latest round of kind of investigations into different companies after the regulator of telecoms, Ofcom, found that it was quite hard to switch different cloud suppliers, and that they basically held a lot of the market. So they're doing some they're investigating whether they should basically start this investigation, and currently discussing that. So not good news for Microsoft and Amazon, although I feel for example, Google, they might feel like they've gotten off light here, given that their name is not mentioned here, but who knows what's going to happen with these investigations. But it's good to see regulators trying to regulate the cloud space, so, to promote competition. So I think that's probably a good thing. Any thoughts, Piggis?
No, I guess it's just good to investigate this in order to improve it, probably.
Yeah. So it's good. That's the end.
Yeah.
It's good. That's the end of today's podcast.
You should be able to easily switch between providers.
Yeah. Yeah, so you should be able to easily switch between providers. I do agree. So now let's end the podcast. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's stories. You can check out the Discord server, sandrolinux.com/Discord. You can see it on screen if you're watching it in video form, and you're not just listening to the audio. And of course you can watch it afterwards in the video form. So you can check out the YouTube channel if you're listening on Discord. And I edited it up so you can see it on YouTube after the fact. And thank you for watching, everybody. Like, subscribe, and share. And goodbye. And
Are we
goodbye,
off?
people on the stream. Because I end the recording first. So that's a fact you wouldn't know if you were watching the recording. Because, yes. Because I ended it. So, if you're watching on the stream, that's a unique